Hey, what's going on there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon out there to the majority of the folks here. It is the Earthmaster back here on this Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, about 12:07 p.m. here along the west, 12:07 p.m. I was going to say a.m., but technically that'd be a little late for me. It is a beautiful day out here in Northern California. It's supposed to be about 83 degrees. Perfect weather. Latest quake here shows a 1.1 into the area of California. We do have a little bit of movement down here into the Southern California area, lighting up slightly across the state. Nothing major, although a little cluster of earthquake activity down here across the Brawley seismic zone. That is one of the extensional faults here of the San Andreas Fault, the plate boundary. Nothing big, but still a little uptick here. This morning, it looks like that began about, looks like maybe it kicked off around midnight or so with a 2.2, and since then, seen some smaller quakes out there. Just a slight uptick there, folks, in elevated earthquake activity across the region. Up into the north, a little spotty once we get up here. Got one earthquake here across the Long Valley supervolcano. And a little bit of activity up here into Northern California. Did have a 3.1 and also a 2.1. Now we have been seeing a lot of tremor up here into the southern segment of the Cascadia subduction zone. Let me show you guys here real quick. The tremor map from yesterday showed about 695 epicenters of tremor. And it's been this way over the past week or so. Mostly into the southern end of the Cascadia. Let me show you guys the total tally here for the last week. So we're starting to see a little bit of earthquake activity ramp up upstream here, as noted on the map. Due on this map, it'd be due west or due left here from the tremor that occurs down dip underneath this area, about 45 kilometers or so into the Cascadia subduction zone. Yellowstone National Park, a couple earthquakes here being reported, it looks like, by the USGS. Mostly from yesterday. Looks like they finally got to them. We'll see what we got for the Yellowstone overview. This looks like it's working now. Yeah, there was a little spitter spatter of events yesterday. This website, I don't think, was working last night, so we were looking at a couple stations over here on the University of Utah and missed this little, I can't really say outbreak, but it's a little, I like to call it spitter spatter because it just kicks out a bunch of earthquake activity all at once in a short amount of time frame. And there was a good amount of earthquake activity here at Yellowstone for a small amount of time. It does look like it's centered around the Mary Lake area, or potentially south here around the Little West Thumb area. See what they have up here on the map. Looks like it's more south. They're counting about 5 earthquakes here in this cluster, but you could probably take that and times that by, I don't know, maybe 5. It should be at least 25 earthquakes on here or more. That's what I'm seeing. I mean, you can easily count one of these spikes here. Those are each all individual earthquakes, including these smaller ones. So they threw up a little fraction of them, just about five earthquakes that they could pick out, I guess. Either way, a little bit of heightened activity there at Yellowstone. Very interesting activity kicking off here. And that was temporary. As we look throughout the nighttime and today so far, things are quiet. Not for sure what this is down here. I'm really not seeing that show up across any of the other seismograph stations here at Yellowstone. If it was earthquake activity, it'd definitely be showing up. I believe it's just another day of thunderstorms up there. Let me check that real quick here, and we'll go to the windy map and see what they are forecasting. Radar and satellite view up here. We're already got storms kicking up, so sure, a little bit of wind, some thunderstorms and whatnot will be the the case today. The Cape values are all over the place here across the Wyoming area and Idaho. So no doubt, I think things are starting to kick back up there again. Either way, a little bit of activity, right? Up there at Yellowstone. Nothing major going on. Texas, Oklahoma, a little spotty movement. See what we got. Excuse me. Grab a drink here real quick. This activity here in Kentucky from yesterday. Haven't seen nothing kick up here overnight so far, or this morning. But the last one was at 2.5 early in the evening yesterday. Right over here around Puerto Rico Trench, one earthquake here, it looks like, right smack dab on the Puerto Rico Trench area. 3.7, 50 kilometers deep. Down into the South America region. Looks a little spotty, but as you can see here on the globe, do have a 5.4 and quite a few 3s and 2s, including a 4-pointer down here, a little bit closer to the area. Let's see here. Yeah, this 5.4 came in just earlier this morning. Looks like about 37 kilometers deep. 5.5, the USGS is reporting it there into the Peru Chile Trench, just offshore. And as you can see, a little bit further earthquake activity down around this region today. Fairly active, it seems. Alaska, a little spotty up there as we look towards the South Pacific. Not a whole lot going on. Some movement across the New Zealand area with some 3s. Nothing really showing up here across the map. Let's check out the GeoNet servers here real quick. See what we have going on. Looks like a 3.7 from yesterday. All magnitudes map here. A couple deleted events. There's a 3.1 North Island area. Some 2s, some 1s. There's a 4.1. That's a little bit further up along the Kermadec Trench, though. Earthquake drums here. We'll probably show that 3-pointer. Somewhere out here. Yeah, just right about here it looks like. Nothing big. Some minor movement today across New Zealand. Up along the Vanuatu, Solomon Islands area. Things look awfully quiet there for now. Did see some deeper movement quakes there yesterday. It looks like that's since dropped off. There we go. It's just barely hanging on over the 24-hour threshold. So very quiet here today. A little bit of movement across the Philippines south into the Indonesia area. And some slight uptick here across the Java Trench with some 3s, it looks like. Nothing major going on up here across the Kuril-Kamchatka. Just a little bit of earthquake activity here across Japan. 4.7 coming in here north of the Himalaya area off the plate boundary. Nothing showing up here yet, though, from the USGS map. And the Turkey and Mediterranean area all showing some 2s and 3s today. Looks like we did have another earthquake down here into the Antarctica area, at least along the plate boundary, way south. 5.7 from yesterday. All right, let's see what we have for the Big Island. See if anything's ramping up out here. Latest one shows a 2.0 near the crater area just south of there, 0.5 kilometers deep. Still seeing relatively deeper movement quakes here underneath the volcano. The latest informational statement here from the USGS. We'll go ahead and check this out real quick. Shows, well, their daily update today. Currently not erupting. The summit is still exhibiting signs of heightened unrest. No active lava. They do have a live stream video of the crater, it looks like, here on YouTube. Inflationary tilt and elevated seismicity continue above background levels there. Just kind of continuing to watch this. See when it's going to kick up. Alaska area, fairly quiet up here. Just some small microquakes across the region. Not a whole lot going on there today. All right, space weather I think is a little bit more active than what we've seen yesterday. Getting a couple low-grade M flares popping here. Notice the trend compared to the days past here. It was very quiet yesterday. Getting at least, it looks like 3 low-grade M flares. And I'm pretty certain I know which sunspot region this is coming from. I believe it's one of these, although over here on the southwestern limb, things look fairly bright from that active region. Let's see what we got here with the magnetic structure. This morning, 3319 is going to be this spot here. It doesn't look like it's grown too much overnight. The very active region looks like is well off the visible disk here on the southwestern limb. The sunspot area here looks like it is developing a little core here, some complex structure within that area here with the blue and the orange down south. We're just to the bottom here. Not a whole lot of dynamics here on the visible disk of the sunspot region. I guess we do have a newer sunspot area here on the southeastern limb. Got a little bit better view and perspective today, although it doesn't look too fancy. It looks a little disorganized there, but we'll continue to watch this in the days ahead. 99% chance for a C flare, M flare elevated at 40, 10% chance for the X flare probability, and that looks like it's coming off of 3315, which is going to be this area right here. Last night it did look a little bit more interesting, but if you look at the latest data here, well, yeah, there's a little bit of area around that region I was just chatting about, this area here, that does show a little bit further complex structure. So we'll continue to watch that, as it does harbor a beta gamma class magnetic structure, and that is the area that harbors the potential for some X flare probability at 5% individually for that sunspot region. Let's see, no major coronal holes have been are facing us. No major CMEs have been produced, I should say. So things are going to be fairly quiet again on the auroras, unfortunately. Eventually it will come back around. As far as weather goes today, folks, a little bit further enhanced severe weather potential. Looks like less than 2% though for tornadoes, so this is going to be wind. Looks like the big time wind event out there in western Nebraska, maybe portions of extreme eastern Colorado as well. 30% chance, and it's in the hatched area of seeing 65 knots or greater within 25 miles of a point. Pretty big deal. Some straight line winds and inflow winds could get fairly high today in that area, but the tornado threat is looks very minimal today across this area. There's the thunderstorm forecast out here. Good potential out across the Nevada and into Idaho, and that includes Yellowstone up here. So we should see those signals that we see on occasion when thunderstorms brew up here across the Webby quarters later tonight. California, a little slight area, maybe some thunderstorm activity in the mountains again, but that's about it. All right, folks, hope everyone has a good day. Hope they had an excellent 3-day weekend. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later tonight with the nightly update. Take care.